Boris the animal, the last surviving member of the predatory Boglodite race, escapes from the high-security Lunar Max prison on Earth's moon. His goal, to travel back in time and kill Agent K, Tommy Lee Jones, who on July 16, 1969, caused Boris to lose his arm and was responsible for his arrest. On Earth, Agent K uncovers the escape while investigating a crash-landing spaceship in the streets of New York City and a Chinese restaurant brimming with alien life. Although K refuses to share specifics with Agent J, Will Smith, he admits his regret at not killing Boris back in 1969. Meanwhile, Boris has arrived on Earth and launches an attack on Jeffrey Price, the son of a former inmate, to steal a device that will enable him to go back in time and eliminate K before he loses his arm. Boris makes his way to the Chinese restaurant, drawn by his favorite dish, and attacks both J and K. Though they manage to escape, Boris ominously tells K that he is already dead, leaving K shaken and fearful. Later that night, while both agents are in their separate apartments, K calls J, seemingly on the verge of revealing everything, but remains silent. Frustrated, J hangs up. K, now determined, prepares for an ambush and ensures all traces of his existence and his apartment disappear. The next morning, J arrives to check on K, only to find the world around him has changed. At MIB headquarters, J learns that all other MIB agents now believe K was killed in action back in 1969. Confused and alarmed, J is forced to confront the reality that things are not as they seem. Agent O, Emma Thompson, the new chief after Zed's passing, deduces from J's insistence of his reality and knowledge of details about Agent K that a fracture has occurred in the space-time continuum. She deduces Boris time jumped to 1969, knowledge of time travel having been restricted to prevent such an occurrence, and killed K, resulting in a different future reality and an imminent Boglodite invasion of Earth, now vulnerable due to the absence of the protective ArcNet, which, in J's version of reality, K had installed in 1969. Through electronics shop owner Jeffrey Price, J acquires the same time jump mechanism as Boris, but his query about how he can remember K when nobody else can merely results in Jeffrey informing him that he must have been there. J's plan is to arrive on July 15th and kill the younger Boris, so that the elder Boris who went back to kill K won't even exist. As the doomed Earth is being invaded, J jumps off the Chrysler building to reach time travel velocity and arrives in 1969 the day before Boris is supposed to kill K. Upon his arrival in 1969, J faces immediate challenges, including limited resources and the fact that, due to his skin color, he doesn't quite blend in with the time period. He heads to Coney Island, hoping to intercept Boris, who is there to commit a murder that has been historically recorded. However, the younger Boris is not there to kill just anyone. He's searching for Griffin, the creator of the ArcNet, a device that could protect Earth from the incoming Boglodite invasion. As J tries to intervene, a 29-year-old Agent K, Josh Brolin, steps in, apprehends him, and takes him to MIB headquarters. At headquarters, J faces fruitless questioning as he's been advised not to interact with young K. Eventually, K places J inside a large neuralyzer, prepared to wipe his memory. Just as K is about to proceed, J confesses the truth of his mission, causing K to abort the procedure at the last second. Hesitant, but now understanding, the two agents follow the trail of clues that lead them to a bowling alley and then to Andy Warhol's factory. There, they meet Griffin, an alien who exists in 5 dimensions and possesses the ArcNet. Griffin shares that the Boglodites destroyed his planet and that he's determined to prevent Earth from suffering the same fate. Before they can act on this information, Griffin warns them that Boris is on his way and leaves just before the elder Boris arrives. The two Borises meet up, with the elder Boris aligning with his younger self. They plan to steal the ArcNet and kill K, ensuring the invasion begins. K narrowly escapes death at the hands of Boris, but the threat remains and the stakes are higher than ever. The agents, with Griffin in tow, head to Shea Stadium, where he hands over the ArcNet to K and instructs him that it must be placed on the Apollo 11 lunar rocket, which is scheduled for launch in less than 6 hours at Cape Canaveral, Florida. However, before they can act, Boris arrives, capturing Griffin and setting the stage for a dangerous confrontation. The agents give chase, determined to rescue him from the impending threat. Upon reaching Cape Canaveral, the team is quickly apprehended by military police. Just as it seems their mission might be over, a colonel steps in. Despite their arrest, the colonel is persuaded to let them continue with their mission after Griffin uses his precognitive abilities to show the colonel the critical importance of the agent's work. Realizing the stakes, the colonel allows them to proceed, giving them a chance to place the ArcNet on the rocket and save the world from the Boglodite invasion. At the launch pad, the final confrontation unfolds as J and K face off against both the 1969 and 2012 versions of Boris. The battle rages on atop the rocket scaffolding as the ignition countdown for Apollo 11's launch grows dangerously close. In the heat of the fight, the elder Boris impales J with his sharp spikes, sending him plummeting off the scaffolding. But in a desperate move, J uses the time jump device to travel back to the start of the fight, avoiding the spikes this time. He then manages to push the elder Boris off the scaffolding, sending him crashing down to the pad below. Meanwhile, K engages the younger Boris in a brutal struggle. In a critical moment, K disconnects a hose, unleashing a spray of liquid hydrogen that hits Boris's left arm. The extreme cold causes Boris's arm to freeze and shatter. With time running out, K rushes to the top of the rocket, where he manages to attach the ArcNet to the spacecraft in the final seconds before the rocket ignites for blastoff. The elder Boris is caught in the fiery blastoff and is incinerated, ending his threat. As Apollo 11 rockets into space, the protective ArcNet deploys, shielding Earth from the impending Boglodite invasion, ensuring the safety of the planet and restoring the timeline to its rightful course. The colonel congratulates K, returning from the launch pad. As J watches from the distance, the younger Boris surprises them and kills the colonel. The younger Boris tries to goad K into arresting him, but the junior agent instead shoots the young Boris this time, killing him. A young boy named James exits a military vehicle looking for his father, who happens to be the colonel. He pulls out a pocket watch, revealed earlier to have been passed down to Agent J by his father, and Jay realizes that the young boy is actually his younger self, explaining Jeffrey's revelation that he was there. He was present when Boris altered history by killing K. Unwilling to reveal his father's death, K neuralizes James, telling him his father is a hero. It was then Jay realized why K wouldn't tell him about why he regretted arresting Boris in the first place. With the timeline restored, Jay returns to the present day, where he meets his partner at a diner. There, he shows K his father's pocket watch and thanks him. As they leave the diner, Griffin, a few seats away, tells the viewers all is well with the world, except for an imminent asteroid impact on Earth, if this is the timeline where K forgot to leave a tip. But when K returns to leave his tip, the asteroid collides with an orbiting satellite instead of the Earth. Thus it is safe for now.